Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining
Tim.
us. Hey, Drex, owner and CEO of Roughhouse Playset, that manufactures high-end vinyl playsets shipped around the country, and owner of Lost Search Media, that is the cutting-edge digital marketing agency that does marketing for many Phoenix-based companies and companies around the country. Drex Tanner, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the marketing stuff or how you got into the Roughhouse playsets?
Yeah, I mean, chronologically, Roughhouse is probably the place to start.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually a family business. My uncle started it in 2005. So our playsets are made out of like a vinyl fence material.
Okay.
My uncle's father-in-law owned a vinyl fence company, and one Christmas in 2005, he's like looking for something. He had a couple of little kids at the time and was looking for a fun Christmas present for him, and took some material home from work and decided to build a playset for him, and they loved it. And then his neighbors loved it and other family members loved it, and he decided to, try his hand at selling them and being an entrepreneur, and grew it for a couple of years. And then really, was a little over leveraged. And when the 2008 financial crisis hit, that kind of took the feet out from under him. And
okay,
so we kind of
it
just
grew organically. There was demand. He thought he had something there. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. And so the product was good. He just, it was kind of a crazy time, right? And his first venture. So he shifted to other things for a while. And then in 2017, 2018, I was just kind of entering the workforce and looking for something to do. I wanted to be an entrepreneur too. And I knew that he had done it. I was actually in a couple of his videos a long time ago as a little kid playing on the playsets and involved in that marketing. And I decided I wanted to jump in and try my hand at it. And so I kind of bought into the business, and we, slow and steady at first, and eventually it kind of snowballed. We just started locally in the Arizona Valley here. Okay. And then over a few years, started to figure out how to ship them all over the country. And it's just kind of been grown and grown ever since then. And then along the way, my uncle's partner that he had kind of started with back then owned a digital marketing agency. And so I joined that as like an employee for a while, and ended up, buying into that business as well a few years ago. And so now we do both, and they kind of feed into each other. We use Roughhouse as a kind of a guinea pig for some marketing stuff too, as we're learning how to sell and promote products.
Okay. Before we get deeper into the media stuff and the marketing company, is the Roughhouse playsets, are those indoor, outdoor, both?
Primarily outdoor. We've done a few indoor. They can go for like play centers, but mostly outdoor, and mostly just residential. So people's backyards and homes and stuff.
Okay. And how I imagine they're more durable, maybe, or take less maintenance, maybe, than like the wood ones. Is that right?
Yeah, there's kind of three main things. No maintenance is a big one. Like you don't have to paint or stain it. And we've had some up now since 2005, right? So 20 years. And they still get played on, still look good. And so you can't say that for very many other brands. So that's a big one. The other big thing in Arizona and like big in Florida and Texas and California for us is the vinyl doesn't get hot in the sun. So even in summer here, like my kids.
The metal slides will kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So the vinyl is treated to like reflect UV rays. So it's really cool. So like even in the sun, it just kind of feels like the temperature outside, like you're touching nothing basically. And so they do really well kind of in those markets. And then the other thing is ours are kind of unique. There are a couple other vinyl brands in the Northeast, like in Pennsylvania. Ours are a little unique to where they're interlocked. So all of the bracketing and screws is like all internal on ours. And so there's a little less color to them. They're more of kind of a minimal high-end design. We work with a lot of like high-end custom home builders throughout the country, and have done stuff for tons of professional athletes and actors and musicians and billionaire hedge fund investors and all sorts of clientele. And they just kind of like the more modern aesthetic with these, $1 million backyards.
Okay. The higher end fancy rough house playset. Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I was curious because I helped my buddy a little bit set his up. His was out of Canada back in the day, but he had an indoor playset. He had playgrounds, fun zone, and cafe, and he had kind of like a McDonald's playground area type of thing.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any big affiliates like that, like restaurants that have indoor playsets or anything like that?
Yeah, nothing name brand, but just kind of small mom and pop type of things. Like, yeah, we did one for indoor. It was a restaurant, I think, in Texas. They put one of ours inside their restaurant and stuff, but nothing too crazy like that. Yeah, it's mostly backyards is kind of what we target.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sounds like a great way to get into the naturally needing the marketing services. So it seems to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How many sort of clients do you have, and in what size? I think you mentioned before that you sort of like to work with starting businesses, but also their locations if they're market specific.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so kind of our big deal with Lost Search Media was we started it out of like necessity because we had these companies, and my partner that started it too before even I joined on was helping his family businesses too, and it was kind of like there weren't a lot of good agencies around there. It was kind of a new thing. This was back in 2008 when Google search results and stuff were becoming really, really popular.
Sure.
So it was kind of by necessity, but also what I think sets us apart is we come at it from the perspective of business owners. Between all of us that own Lost Search Media, we have about 4 other companies that we're involved in. And so we can kind of put that business owner hat on of like, what's really important in a marketing agency to a business owner. It's not like a lot of our competitors will throw out vanity metrics like, hey, we'll increase the visibility on your website by 10x. But to a business owner, like, well, that's great, but does that help my bottom line?
Right. Are they
people?
actually buying? Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I could get 1 million people to visit a website, but if it's people, bots from China and India, like it doesn't really help if that's not who they're targeting, right? And so it's a really big deal to like just the quality leads and quality communication. And so that's, I think, what sets us apart. And we really like to help businesses in Arizona. And the big reason there is we have in-house videographer team, graphic design team, and we actually like to go on site. And because I think our market is really small business owners that are doing like $1 million to $2 million plus a year in revenue that have kind of a decent marketing budget, but aren't super big. And so where we can interact with the business owner and help them go and like, half of all marketing now is visual. It's videos, it's images, it's, social media. And a lot of business owners don't have time to sit there and film stuff on their phone all day, right? And because they're experts in their field. And so that's where we come in, and we like to be able to drive, a couple hours around the valley here and help them get some really good videos and projects done and stuff. And so.
Okay, excellent. So what sort of hats do you wear at Lost Search?
Yeah, so Lost Search, I'm in charge of growth and sales. I like to do, kind of networking, things like this to where kind of get our name out there and give even my personal testimony of like the effectiveness of Lost Search and how it's helped my business, Rough House, grow and stuff. And so that's kind of my thing, is meeting new people and finding, business owners that are looking to shake things up and to see some success in marketing.
Okay. And have you ever, I know when you mentioned startups, it makes me think of a lot of times they don't have maybe the budget to do a lot of big stuff up front, like the fractional CMO work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do a little bit of that. We don't specialize in like startups unless they do have some sort of funding. But we definitely do the fractional CMO type of thing and have some engagements where we're really just like an extension of their team. We like to call it agency backed fractional CMO, to where, you'll have a CMO on site, but not only do you get a CMO, but that CMO can go back to our agency and you have a graphic design team, you have a video team, you have a paid advertisement team, you have a social media specialist. And so there's a whole kind of team behind them.
Yeah, not just somebody with some ideas coming in to help, but they actually have the resources in hand.
Yeah, especially with business owners, a lot of them have the vision for their business. They're visionaries, but the execution and the getting stuff done is where it's tricky. And so we try to bring that element.
Well, it's interesting how some people maybe more on the engineer side or something, they can design a thing, a product, a widget,
Mhm.
whatever, and they know how awesome it is, and they just, right, and they
Yeah.
can they can create it, make a website, and then just sit and wait for the phone to ring
Yeah, right. Exactly.
and not
Yeah.
appreciate that nobody knows about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the other thing we really try to do, and this is something we've evolved even the last couple of years as our agency has grown, is try to even educate the business owner on like, hey, we can determine, or we can help see how many calls and leads are coming through. We can track number of form submissions or whatever it is, website traffic. But what we try to pitch is like, hey, we need to be an extension of your team, meaning we need to get sales data. Like we need to talk to your sales guy, like, hey, we got you
Right.
these 10 phone calls. Of those 10, which of them were good leads? And then we can backtrack, okay, that lead came from a Google ad, that one came from
Right.
Facebook, that one from Instagram. And it's hard to like, as a business owner, like you said, they're busy, right? It's hard for them to
For sure.
tackle all that. But we try to be helpful where we can of like, hey, let's really dial in where these are coming from. And then it's simple math. You spend $1,000 on a Google ad, you get $10,000 worth of business. The more you spend, the more business you get, and it becomes a easy to calculate
Yeah.
ROI.
Yeah. And when you get $2 for every dollar you spend on marketing,
Exactly.
you just start turning that crank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we try to pitch it as like marketing shouldn't be an expense; it should be an investment, and every good
Yep.
investment has a good calculated ROI on it, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what are some of the bigger challenges you have had so far with I'm sorry, the name is still throws me.
Yeah.
It's not a normal name, Lost Search Media, but I kind of get the
Lots.
idea, right? Is trying to
Yeah,
make sure your searches are found.
exactly right. Yeah, and if you look at our branding, it's very compass heavy and kind of
Okay.
navigation heavy, and that's kind
Right.
of our style, right? But yeah, some challenges we've had. I mean, obviously been several over the years, just kind of the normal business growth challenges of hiring and finding the right people and finding experts in their fields. Cause we do offer a lot of services. And so we got to find good experts that are good at video and video production and editing, and people that are really analytic and data minded that can do the paid ads and stuff.
Do you
I would
specialize in any industries?
the kind of three big ones right now are is like home services. We do really well for there. We have a bunch of clients in home services, from landscaping to pest control to they're very similar types of audiences, HVAC, plumbing. The other one is attorneys. We kill it for attorneys for whatever reason. We've gotten really good at, especially personal injury and estate planning. I think we've gotten a really good system down there.
Huh.
And then the other ones are kind of like the bigger, just like B2B style companies. We have a lot of like large scale construction clients where they're not targeting like a homeowner, but they're targeting like big, huge brands, like trying to get Pepsi Cola as a client and that type of thing. And
Okay.
brand perspective.
Interesting.
Yeah. So kind of all over the place. We have a lot of like e-commerce clients too that are selling products online and stuff. So what we
Okay.
found is like 80% of marketing, no matter what industry in, is pretty similar. It's like the secret is really like who is your audience, and we
Right.
spend a lot of time with the business owners or their marketing internal marketing people. Like, who are you trying to sell to? And then you reverse engineer it. Well, how do we reach those people? Where are they? What message do they need to hear?
Right. And dial in on their ideal avatar and their
Yeah,
best
exactly.
clients to date, for example.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Totally
personas.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
One
Okay.
challenge that's come up recently with all that is just the takeover of these large language models, the chat
Hmm.
GPTs and the Geminis and everything, where that is changing how people search stuff online.
Hmm.
And so we've spent an enormous amount of time just in education, like how is this changing search behaviors and how can we still get
Right.
our businesses visible with major shifts in how people are finding information online.
Okay. Let's talk about that for a second. So,
Yeah.
um, like a year or so ago, it was, I forget what it's called. There's like the one-click result, right? Which kind of kills SEO.
Mhm.
Number three, it's like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number one is all that matters, right?
Yep.
So, and then also people are using, these, like ChatGPT to do their Google searches now,
Yep.
right? And so
Yep.
what's the future of that? Or what's the idea currently for how to get, presence on
Sure.
those models?
Yeah, it's something that's rapidly evolving, and I'm actually not the subject matter expert on that, but what I would say is as of right now, the things that have worked in the past, even 10, 20 years ago, are kind of coming back to fruition. Like how people used to search 15 years ago is kind of how language models are searching now. And it's basically just good SEO, really
Okay.
showing, because these language models are crawling your sites, right?
Right. Looking
And so
for,
you
they
got to
still
get,
do meta tags?
yeah, exactly. Yep, meta
Yeah. So,
tags.
so
Yep.
okay. And
Keywords in
spiders
the
coming through and
pages.
just searching for
Yep.
everything. Okay.
Yeah, basically like making it as easy as possible for the language model to know what your business does. And you're really teaching it through pages on your website, through meta tags, title descriptions, all that, showing them like, hey, this is the subject matter. We are an expert on it, establishing
Okay.
credibility. Another big source that these language models seem to be getting some, they're, each of them is a little bit different, but like Reddit is a big one where we used to not spend a ton of time, but now ChatGPT especially crawls a lot of data on Reddit.
Hmm.
And so making sure you have a presence on there and everywhere else and Facebook and all that. So, but yeah, it's rapidly evolving. It's been a little interesting to our industry over the last, especially 12 months.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're on the younger side, and so
Yeah.
a lot of people, right, in different phases of their business, they want to reinvest into their business all the time. You have multiple businesses, and so you
Yeah.
can kind of have a little more perspective on that, and maybe you have plans for another business or generating income outside of your current one, right? There's two.
Hmm.
They're not exclusive, but often people reinvest only in their company, right, until they have an exit, and then
Hmm.
they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Or they're balanced, right? And so, can you
Yeah.
talk a
Yeah.
little bit about your thoughts on that?
Yeah. It's a good question. So, they are a little bit different. In terms of Roughhouse right now, we are investing in growth through like our capacity. So we are building a large shop right now in Idaho.
For
Um,
fabrication.
yeah, for fabrication.
Okay.
Yep, for all of our manufacturing. So we'll move most of it. We do it right now and here in Gilbert, but we're moving pretty much all of it up to Idaho. We're supposed to break ground here in a couple weeks and move up there next summer.
Okay. That's
So
exciting.
yeah, investing in land and a big building up there and stuff, and that's big jump for us, but I think it'll pay off. And if nothing else, there's lots of rental opportunities up there. We just rent it out to somebody else. So that's a big thing going on with Rough House right now. Lost Search, we've been investing pretty heavily like in our team and just finding experts and just subject matter experts in their field, from like I said, SEO to video, to just really trying to build a quality team that can help our clients. We're also potentially talking about getting a building there. And then I have, personal investments. I'm a little diversified. I have a couple of real estate rental properties.
Yay. Big fan of real estate.
That's right. Me too. Yeah, it's been good. My father-in-law is an agent and longtime investor, so he's been a good kind of mentor and
Awesome.
stuff on that over the few years. And I have quite a bit of, not a ton of money, but quite a bit of interest, I would say, in stock market, and have been long time investor in index funds and, gambling
Okay.
on whatever stock is popular. It's a mixed results, but I enjoy it. So
Sure.
it's more of a hobby than an actual money making thing. But
Well, yeah, well, speculation is a type of gambling,
that's
but
right.
yeah, it's not based on a business thesis
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I
per
view it.
se,
It's more
right?
for fun, right? It gives a
You're just
adrenaline shot.
right. You're just hoping to sell it for more than you bought it for,
That's right.
which hopefully somebody else will like it in the future.
That's right. That's right.
Kind of like gold or Bitcoin or any of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I'm a fan of businesses, and kind of what I do focus on is the apartment syndications and stuff.
Love
Is
it.
rental real estate is a business, right? It has
Yeah.
income, revenue. It's not just if you just bought a house and did nothing with it and waited to sell it later, that wouldn't be a very good investment.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently, it's like 4% historically, but
Yeah. Yeah.
well, not the last several years.
Unless you bought in 2020 or something, right?
Right. But if you take all the tax advantages and
Yeah.
the appreciation and the cash flow, all that, it all adds up pretty good.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed it so far. It's good.
Excellent. Excellent. So, okay. Here's a question I've introduced, which I really am enjoying lately is
Yeah.
what have you done in the last 12 months that has changed your life?
Yeah. That's a great question. Almost exactly 12 months ago, we hired 2 coaches, which is something we've never done before. We hired a leadership coach and then a business coach that focused on, I don't know if you're familiar with Gino Wickman's like traction program.
Yep. EOS for sure.
Yeah, EOS. Yep. So we hired like an EOS implementer.
Okay.
Who was actually a friend of my business partners. And so we did those at the same time, and it's been amazing, like totally
Awesome.
life-changing.
All right. Share a little bit more on that.
Yeah. I mean, I've always felt like a coach would be good. It's never been something I've shied away from, but just like they're expensive, and just getting over that hurdle of like, is it worth the investment? And I think so. In terms of the traction thing, like trying to operate a business is hard. We're trying to operate like 3 businesses, and we were just all over the place. Our employees are like, we never get back to them on time, and we have so many things going on. And
right.
And so getting the traction program, we implemented it across both of our main companies, and it's been great. Like it's been so helpful to really align on like, what are our core values? Like we need a meeting schedule. We need a leadership team. We need clarity. Like everybody just needs clarity, which we've tried to do on our own, but didn't have like the language and the structure that EOS provided. And so that's been huge and been such an accelerator. And then I think even more so, or maybe equally so, on just the leadership coach has helped all of us communicate as partners, just good perspective on our team. We actually have him meeting with certain team members now too, that we've kind of gone through the program. He does like Augmendino Group's Habit Finder kind of program. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's really cool. So that's been good. I mean, just it's helped us as a partnership. It's helped us as better leaders. I think it's been small baby steps, but so I think it's been good. Sure. And I would recommend finding a good coach to anybody that's looking to level up, because we've just felt like hamster wheel. We're spinning our wheels, seeing marginal growth, and just frustrated along the way, right? Like everything is harder than it should be. But I think a coach, I wouldn't say everything gotten easier, but at least the perspective and the journey along the way has been more pleasant.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And none of those things happen like that, right? Somebody doesn't just, here's the secret, right? It takes practice to implement. It's particularly leadership and learning how to be a little more effective in your communication anyway.
Yep. Totally.
Right. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So not mistakes you've made type of thing, but what do you wish you would have known sooner in building success in your career?
Yeah. I think, I kind of just said it, but like just knowing that there is help out there, like,
okay.
And
trying to reinvent the wheel and do everything yourself.
Yeah. Trying to really just stick and commit to like a program like EOS or something, and just getting organized and not being afraid to ask, like, hey, what are you doing? Like, how do you make this work? Because I have a bunch of friends and connections in the business world. And I think, just not being afraid to figure out what's out there and see something that resonates with you, and then just commit to it, implement it, and see how it goes. And kind of stick to it for a while.
Okay. And for our listeners or viewers who may not be familiar, do you want to quickly explain what the entrepreneurial operating system is? The book by Gino Wickman, why that's helped you?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a book called Traction, and it is like probably the most concise book like I've ever read. Like there's no wasted words in that book. It basically tells you how to make an operating system for your business. And it's everything from how you hire and fire employees, how you determine like what your marketing strategy is, the types of meetings you should be having, who you should be having them with, how do you evaluate your team and the criteria to do so. And it's like a full approach to operating a business, effectively. And especially once you have employees and even, leadership team and stuff, that you kind of know how to manage it properly. I think the biggest thing for me is like, it makes things clear. Like, Your team knows what
Yes.
they're doing. They know the bars they're supposed to hit. Everybody has a target. Everybody has a goal, a number. He talks a lot about like everybody needs a number. Everybody needs a KPI, and you know what they're shooting for. And so I think just clarity is what it brings.
Amen. That's a big one for a lot of people and myself. When I was reading that, I was like, you're making ground on different things, but without a clear vision for the future, people flounder, and it's easy to get distracted, etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, Drex. So if people would like to connect with you or learn more, where can they go? What should they do?
Yeah, I try to be active on LinkedIn. So yeah, find me on there. You can email me at drex@lostsearchmedia.com, especially if anybody interested in just asking questions about marketing and anything going on with, again, like all the language learning models and how that affects your business and your website. I love to, go to lunch or meet with anybody that has questions and see if I can help where I can.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. Thank you very much, Drex Tanner, for joining me today and sharing your insights into Phoenix industry and marketing and online presence and all that good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.